Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm the 7th grade teacher at Nisayon. Right now I want you to picture yourself what you would do if you were writing a paper. First, you would sit down and write it, and then you would proofread it and do a spell check and add some more details in order to make your information clear, and then you would end up with a perfectly written paper. Simchat Torah is the time where we celebrate finishing reading the Torah. Have you ever wondered how the Torah was written? Today I'm going to tell you the steps that a sofer, a person who writes the Torah, goes through in order to create a written Torah. So first we have how to write a Torah. A sofer first has to find the paper in order to write the Torah. And you can't just use any kind of paper. It has to be parchment paper. Parchment paper comes from an animal, the skin of an animal. And after you have the parchment paper, then you soak the parchment paper in a lime water solution, which helps to clean the parchment paper. You have to leave the parchment paper in the solution for 7 days, and then after the 7 days you take it out, and it should be completely clean. After it's completely clean, you take the parchment paper and you stretch it on a piece of wood, and that piece of paper, the parchment paper, is now called a cloth. The cloth is then sanded in order to make it completely smooth, and the process of the sanding and the soaking is repeated in order to make sure that the parchment paper is completely clean and ready to use. When that is all done, the cloth is cut into a rectangular sheet called a yiriyah. The yiriyah is prepared with indented lines, and if you look closely you can see a number that's written on it, and what it does is helps allow the sofer to write the Torah in a straight line. And after the sofer has the yiriyah prepared, they have to find a feather, or in Hebrew it's called a kalmas. And the feather is what they use to write with on the Torah. And in order to write on the Torah, they have to create a special kind of ink. And the ink comes from a bumpy part on the plant, sulfuric acid, and gum arabic from an acacia tree. After all this is done, then a sofer, is able to begin writing on the Torah. One of the important things is that they do not make a mistake. They cannot write from memory because they must make sure that they don't make a mistake. However, a sofer is allowed to make a mistake if it's just a regular word. But any words pertaining to God, they have to start the process over again because we cannot make a mistake on God's name. If you look here, you'll see the letter Shin. Some letters are fancier than others. So if you see this one, there's a little bit of a crown right here, these little lines. And these lines are called the tagim. And they make the Torah writing a little bit fancier than some of the other letters. Once the yiriyah are completed, the sheets of parchment paper are completed, they're sewn together with a special thread called a giddon. Once it's done being sewn together, the parchment paper is placed on wooden rollers called etzei chaim, which is a trees of life, which is like the song that we sing, Etz Chaim. And then what you'll see is the completed Torah, which is like the one that you would use for your bat mitzvah. And it's all ready to go. If you want any more information about the steps to writing a Torah, you can look at this website, babaganews.com, and then you click on the link that says for Simchat Torah, and it will give you some more information about how to write a Torah, or it will let you practice some of the letters if you want to see how a sofer writes. Thank you so much, and Chag Sameach.